Hello, everybody, and good morning. My name's Don Arleth, and it's time to kick off World News, coming to you live from Warsaw. In an interview with CBS News on Sunday, U.S. President Donald Trump stressed that he is the peace president, and he's already solved 8 out of 9 wars by putting tariffs on the countries involved. When asked why the war in Ukraine still hasn't come to an end, Trump said that the strategy is different with Russia, as the U.S. doesn't do much business with Moscow.
Well, I roll out the red carpet for everybody.
But there's been no ceasefire. Is he ignoring you?
Because I inherited a country where he thinks he's winning. That was a war that would have never happened if I was president.
So why won't Putin end this war?
But Nora, that was Joe Biden's war, not my war. I inherited that stupid war.
And you have branded yourself the peace president.
Well, I think I did pretty good. I solved, those are 8 of the 9 wars I solved. You know how I solved them? I said, in many cases, in 60%, I said, if you don't stop fighting, I'm putting tariffs on both of your countries, and you're not going to be able to do business with the United States.
Why isn't that working with Putin?
It is working with Putin, I think. I did different with him because we don't do very much business with Russia, for one thing. You know, he's not like somebody that buys a lot from us because of foolishness. And I think he'd like to be. I think he wants to come in and he wants to trade with us and he wants to make a lot of money for Russia, and I think that's great.
Russian forces attacked Ukrainian cities of Mykolaiv and Dnipro overnight on Sunday, injuring 1. They also attacked Nikopol in the Dnipropetrovsk region. However, the strike did not result in any casualties. According to the head of the Mykolaiv region military administration, Vitaly Kim, a fire broke out in one of Mykolaiv's supermarkets after the Russian army used Shahed drones to strike the city. A car service station and 2 cars were also damaged in the attack. However, so far no casualties have been recorded. Meanwhile, Russian missiles struck an industrial facility in Dnipro, injuring a 37-year-old man. On Sunday evening, Russian drones and artillery also struck Nikopol. But as with the strikes on Mykolaiv, the Ukrainian authorities did not record any casualties. A Russian border guard unit displaying the flag of the mercenary group Wagner was spotted on Sunday patrolling the Narva River. The river serves as a natural border between Estonia and Russia. Commenting sarcastically on the sighting on social media, the Estonian Foreign Ministry said the paramilitary group took over Russia's border services. The incident comes amid renewed tensions along the river, where Russian border guards removed 25 Estonian navigation buoys in May 2024, claiming they were incorrectly placed. Estonia has since issued 3 diplomatic notes demanding their return and calling such actions, quote, unacceptable. The Wagner Group, sponsored by the Russian state, is classified as a terrorist organization by the UK government. It has become known for its role in executing Russia's foreign policy agenda, including its covert operations in Ukraine as early as 2014, and as well as propping up pro-Kremlin regimes globally, among others in Syria, Libya, and Mali. On Sunday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called China an unreliable partner in some areas of trade. Speaking to Fox News Sunday, the American official added that the U.S. could threaten tariffs again if Beijing considered limiting rare earth exports.
We could threaten the tariffs again, and we have plenty of things that we can hold back too. Over the next 12 and 24 months, we're going to be moving at warp speed. We didn't get here in a year. This is a problem that has been with us for several decades. It's never been addressed with these rare earths, the rare earth magnets. The Chinese have cornered the market, and unfortunately, at times, they proved to be unreliable partners.
Head of the CIA, John Radcliffe, paid what has been described as a quiet visit to Brussels this week. According to sources, the purpose of the trip was to reaffirm Washington's commitment to transatlantic intelligence sharing.
During his pit stop, Ratcliffe is said to have met with the EU's top diplomat Kaja Kallas, the bloc's Intelligence and Situation Center, and the Military Staff Intelligence Directorate. Officially, Ratcliffe was in Brussels to brief the North Atlantic Council, NATO's political decision-making body. His meetings with Brussels' top brass, however, are likely meant to reassure the EU about the willingness of Washington to cooperate on intelligence sharing. Back in March, President Trump has halted the sharing of military intelligence with Kiev, but has since resumed it.
Hundreds of protesters gathered outside Serbia's parliament on Sunday to support Diana Herka, a mother whose child died in last year's railway station roof collapse in Novi Sad. Demonstrators who blame the government for the collapse shouted her name at supporters of the Serbian president, who stood behind rows of riot police.
Well, definitely as things stand, the authorities want to divide the nation. Two Serbias will be created. One on one side and one on the other. I just hope there won't be any bloodshed.
I think this is absolutely scandalous. The behavior of the authorities is scandalous. The behavior of the police is scandalous. The behavior of the members of the SNS party and the people in Castleland is scandalous. People here are gathering to support a woman who is fighting for justice, who lost her son, who is on a hunger strike, which is the most radical measure, and the police are currently letting SNS supporters throw pyrotechnics at people and not reacting to it.
Emotions are mixed. I've seen a lot of my acquaintances, and that evokes nice, friendly emotions. And on the other hand, there are bad emotions, emotions of anger when we see that crime is being promoted in this country under the protection of the regime, and that peaceful protesters are being attacked.
2025 has been plagued by extreme heat and drought. Brazil is set to host heads of state in the Amazonian city of Belém for this year's United Nations Climate Summit, with the climate change issue on its agenda. The summit kicks off on November 6th and brings together world leaders, scientists, and non-governmental organizations to discuss priority actions to tackle climate change.
Scientists have been surprised by the speed of global warming, with average temperatures already having gone up 1.3 to 1.4 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial average, according to data from UN and EU science agencies.
This is a dying glacier. It doesn't have any part at high elevation where it still accumulates some snow. At this place where we are standing, there will be no ice in maybe 5 years from now.
The world is currently on track for about 3.1 degrees Celsius of global warming in this century. On David Barton's beef farm in the picturesque Cotswolds in western England, months of heat and drought have parched the fields. It's the result of England's driest spring in more than 100 years, according to data from the UK's Met Office.
Yeah, in a normal dry summer when you think it's dried up, it's nothing like this. I've never experienced anything like this in all my time in farming. 42 years of farming, I haven't seen anything like this.
This summer, the water level in the Vistula, Poland's longest river, fell to its lowest ever recorded level in Warsaw amid an ongoing period of hot, dry weather. In June, the river's level fell to just 19 centimeters in Warsaw. Spain experienced its hottest June on record this year, with temperatures soaring to 48 degrees Celsius.
I feel terrible about it. I can't sleep well and have insomnia. I also get heat strokes. I stop eating and I just can't focus.
From melting glaciers to dried up rivers, the signs of a planet under strain are everywhere. As leaders prepare to meet in Belém, the question remains whether words will finally turn into action.
The Polish diaspora across the globe numbers around 20 million people. But there's one place on earth in particular where Poles are actually the biggest ethnic minority. And regardless of what you might think, it's not an obvious one. Iceland. Our correspondent Kazimierz Wysiak visited the island and brings you this report on how Poles became an integral part of the faraway country.
We are currently in Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. This island, nestled between Greenland and the United Kingdom, is home to some 500,000 residents. And about 8% of them are Poles. Polish people are actually the biggest ethnic minority on the island. Some 30,000 of them live and work here. Let's go speak with some of them and find out how close of a community they have and why they decided to settle here. As the old Polish saying goes, the road to the heart leads through the stomach. So we begin by visiting a Polish restaurant serving traditional Polish dishes. There are dozens of them scattered throughout the city.
As a Polish restaurant, we are serving food you can find back home. I can tell you that many Icelanders find this interesting and they visit us to try these dishes.
Poles work in various industries in Iceland, including fishing, construction and tourism. You can see Polish language virtually everywhere, including as an option at self-checkout in supermarkets.
So they came for hard work. The people come to a country to do a job, jobs which are sometimes too hard for the inhabitants, for the people living here, because they are wealthy enough to employ foreigners.
And being hard-working is one trait which Icelanders seem to respect quite a lot.
I think they're more or less welcome in Iceland, and I think most Icelanders think they do a fantastic job in whatever field they're working.
To have variety in the population is very important, and learning other cultures and integrating maybe some of the good parts from other cultures is very important.
But Poles have an even bigger presence here than just in manual labor. I'm meeting with Paweł Bartoszek, a half Icelandic, half Polish politician who's leading the country's parliamentary committee for foreign affairs. He confirms to me what we've heard from local residents about their attitude towards Poles.
They consider them to be, hardworking and have good values. So I would say that the overall perception of Poles is positive. I can of course not speak for everybody, but in my case, I think that having a Polish last name, having a Polish origin has only benefited me in my political career.
The Polish-Icelandic relationship is also growing at the government level. Both are staunch supporters of Ukraine, and in the face of Russia threatening the security of both Europe and the Arctic, Iceland is reconsidering joining the European Union.
A referendum is being planned about whether or not to come back to the idea of reopening the negotiations. We support that idea very much. We also try to encourage Iceland to work closer with us on the security domain.
As global politics are catching up to this remote island, its Polish residents don't tend to dwell on them. Instead, they're working hard to make this place their new home.
I like challenges, so I said to myself, why not? I've lived here for 3 years and it's been quite good. Icelanders are really welcoming people. They're friendly and open to outsiders. You can build great relationships here.
After speaking with the residents of this beautiful island, it's clear that Poles are an essential and well-integrated part of this hard-working society. From Iceland, Kazimierz Łysiak, TVP World.
The world's oldest living Olympic gold medalist, French cyclist Charles Coste, has passed away at the age of 101. The announcement was made by the French sports minister on Sunday. Born on February 8, 1924, Coste was a promising cyclist before the start of World War II. He resumed his passion after the war, winning a French national title in 1947 and Olympic gold in London the following year. He was also a torchbearer at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. He became the world's oldest living Olympic gold medalist following the death of Hungarian artistic gymnast Agnes Kaletti, who died aged 103 in January of this year. Coste died on Thursday, October 30th. And that concludes this edition of World News. Thanks for joining us, and stay with us for more here on TVP World.